Honestly, lust is not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing. It allows you to create initial attraction and spark interest quickly. It's immediate, it's visual, it's biological. Lust is the gateway, the initial pull that gets a man's attention, that makes him notice you, that creates the spark that starts everything. But the problem with lust is that it's also temporary. And the reason why it's temporary when it comes to making a man truly commit is because lust is based on stimulation and novelty, both of which inevitably fade. The body he's attracted to eventually becomes familiar. The physical excitement eventually diminishes through repetition. The visual appeal that first caught his attention becomes background rather than focal point. Lust alone, without deeper psychological hooks, has a shelf life measured in weeks or months, not years. So truly, when you think about it, what actually impacts a man, what lingers in his mind long after the physical moment passes, are psychological turn-ons that go deeper than physical desire. These aren't about appearance or physical attributes, they're about identity. The right emotional triggers can make a man feel stronger, more capable, more respected, and more understood in your presence. They activate something in how he sees himself rather than just how he sees you. And trust me when I say when that happens, attraction stops being surface level. It becomes internal. It's no longer about your body or your face. It's about who he becomes when he's with you, how you make him feel about himself, what aspects of his identity you activate or affirm. That shift from external attraction to internal identity activation is what transforms lust into lasting attachment. Many women focus exclusively on creating physical chemistry, looking attractive, being good in bed, maintaining physical appeal. And yes, physical chemistry matters as the starting point, but chemistry without psychological impact fades quickly. The initial excitement wears off, familiarity replaces novelty, and if there's nothing deeper holding his attention, he moves on to the next source of physical stimulation. Hi, I'm Gabriel Hart from My Daily Love, and in this video we'll talk about 8 specific psychological turn-ons that create deeper masculine attachment than physical attraction ever could, the emotional and identity-based triggers that make you unforgettable. Number 1. Sensory microtriggers. These are small, specific sensory details that become uniquely associated with you. The way you smell. Not just perfume, but your specific scent combination, a specific way you tilt your head when you're thinking about something, a unique catchphrase or expression you use regularly, a particular laugh, the way you touch your hair, a gesture that's distinctly yours. Over time, these micro-triggers become cognitive shortcuts in his brain that lead directly to thoughts of you. In simple terms, it's like Pavlovian conditioning, but for human connection. His brain starts associating these specific sensory inputs with the positive emotional experience of being around you. After enough repetition, encountering anything similar to those sensory triggers, even in completely different contexts, immediately brings you to mind and triggers the emotional state associated with you. This is why a man can be completely turned on, completely drawn to thoughts of you, just by smelling a certain fabric softener in a grocery store that reminds him of how you smell. So please, the shift I want you to start making is this. Develop specific sensory signatures that become uniquely yours. A signature scent you wear consistently, a catchphrase or expression that's distinctly you. A gesture or movement pattern that's recognizable. Don't try to be generic or blend in. Be specific, be distinctive, be memorable in your sensory presentation. Because these micro-triggers become anchors in his neurology that keep you present in his mind even when you're physically absent. As a man, I can tell you these sensory anchors work because they bypass conscious thought. I'm not choosing to think about someone when I catch a scent similar to theirs or see a gesture that reminds me of them. It's automatic. The sensory input triggers the neural pathway, which activates the emotional memory, which brings them to mind. That automatic unconscious nature is what makes it so powerful. You're not demanding his attention, you're occupying his neural pathways through sensory conditioning. Over the years, I've noticed that the women who stay in men's minds long-term are those who created strong sensory anchors. Years later, we still remember how they smelled, how they laughed, specific gestures they made. Those sensory memories are tied to emotional states that can be reactivated instantly. That's not physical attraction, that's psychological imprinting at the neurological level. Number 2, authentic, unimpressed energy. Being genuinely unimpressed by his status, money, career, physical appearance, or game, the external trappings he's used to people valuing, and instead focusing on his character, his values, his thinking, or even small quirky details about him that have nothing to do with his external accomplishments or appearance. not performing disinterest, but genuinely caring more about who he is than what he has or how he looks. Think of the difference between a woman who's clearly impressed by his career success and financial status versus a woman who barely acknowledges those things but lights up when he talks about his values or shows character or reveals something quirky about his personality. The first is validating his external achievements. The second is seeing past all that to who he actually is. For high status or successful men especially, the second is extraordinarily rare and therefore extraordinarily valuable. So here's exactly how you use this. When a man is displaying status markers, talking about career success, showing wealth, demonstrating social value, displaying physical appeal, respond with polite acknowledgement but not awe. That's nice. That's cool. Good for you. Then shift your attention and genuine interest to his character, his thinking, his less obvious qualities. What I'm more curious about is why you chose that field. What drives you? Focus on the internal rather than celebrating the external. High status or successful men are used to people wanting something from them, their money, their connections, their status, access to their lifestyle. When you genuinely aren't swayed by the trappings, when you aren't impressed by the surface stuff everyone else values, he realizes he can't buy your affection or interest with his usual currency. This forces him to actually earn you through who he is rather than what he has, which makes the chase psychologically addictive. Number 3. The nurturing pivot. When he's genuinely exhausted, stressed, or emotionally down, not just having a mildly bad day but actually struggling, you provide specific, non-judgmental comfort that doesn't require him to perform or reciprocate. Maybe making his favorite coffee without him asking, maybe just letting him sit in silence without trying to fix him or requiring conversation, maybe ordering food you know he likes without him having to think about it. Small acts of nurturing that don't require anything from him in return. So when a man is struggling or exhausted, I want you to practice the nurturing pivot. Provide comfort without requiring him to reciprocate or perform. Don't ask for emotional processing he doesn't have energy for. Don't make his struggle about your needs. Don't require him to still show up as the man when he's depleted. Just create space, provide simple comforts. Let him exist without expectation. This taps into what I call the safe harbor instinct. This really happens more than most women realize. Men spend most of their time in environments where they're expected to constantly perform, constantly be strong, constantly have it together, constantly be on. In a world where he is constantly expected to perform, a woman who provides a space where he doesn't have to be the man, where he can be tired, depleted, struggling, and still accepted, becomes his greatest necessity. Not his greatest pleasure or his greatest excitement, but his greatest necessity for psychological survival. The bond this creates is profound because it makes you the one place where he doesn't have to perform. Everywhere else, work, family, friends, the world, requires the competent mask. With you, the mask can come off. That relief, that ability to finally exhale, creates attachment that physical attraction could never generate because it addresses a deep need rather than just a surface want. Number 4. Observational praise. Instead of generic compliments that could apply to anyone, you look good, you're smart, you're great, you offer specific observational praise that proves you're actually paying attention to his choices, his efforts, his character. I noticed how you handled that difficult situation earlier. The way you stayed calm and found a solution was really impressive. I saw how you made sure everyone felt included in that conversation. That awareness and consideration stood out to me. To help you understand it, generic praise is nice but forgettable because it doesn't require observation or knowledge of the person. You're handsome could be said to any attractive man. But specific, observational praise, praise that requires you to have been paying attention to his actions, his choices, his character in specific situations, proves you actually see him. Not just see him physically, but see his efforts, his values, his attempts to be a good person. So what does this actually look like? Pay attention to what he does, how he handles situations, choices he makes that reveal character. Then comment on those specific observations. I noticed you went out of your way to help that person, even though it wasn't convenient for you. That generosity is admirable. The way you handled that tense conversation, staying respectful even when the other person wasn't, that took real character. Specific observed, tied to his actual choices and actions. When I talk to men about compliments that actually affected us, we consistently cite specific observational praise over generic surface compliments. Because observational praise validates internal efforts and character, it tells us you see the man we're trying to be, not just the body we're in or the surface we present. That validation of effort and character creates attachment because it affirms identity at the deepest level. From what I've seen, observational praise is powerful specifically because it's rare. Most praise men receive is generic or transactional. Observational praise requires someone to actually pay attention, to see our efforts, to notice our character. When you become the person who sees and validates those things, the internal efforts no one else notices, you become irreplaceable as the one person who truly sees who we're trying to become. Number 5. Fearless vulnerability. Sharing a small, slightly embarrassing truth or a minor insecurity with a take-it-or-leave-it attitude. Not seeking validation or reassurance, not needing his approval, just stating something real about yourself with complete confidence that it's fine. Maybe you mention an embarrassing moment from your past and laugh about it. Maybe you admit an insecurity but frame it as just a fact about you, not a plea for him to tell you you're wrong. Vulnerability without neediness, truth without requiring his validation. Imagine the difference between I'm insecure about my body and need you to tell me I'm beautiful. Needy vulnerability seeking reassurance versus I have this weird insecurity about my hands. I think they're too big, but whatever, that's just how they are. Stated matter-of-factly without seeking validation. The first creates pressure and obligation. The second signals immense self-confidence, because only someone deeply secure can afford to be vulnerable without needing reassurance in response. So let's make this practical for you. Practice sharing small vulnerabilities or truths about yourself without seeking validation or reassurance in response. Share the slightly embarrassing story, but own it with confidence. Mention the insecurity, but make it clear you're not seeking his approval or validation of it. State truths about yourself, quirks, flaws, imperfections, with a "this is who I am, take it or leave it" energy that signals you don't need his approval to be okay with yourself. So that power vulnerability, being vulnerable from a place of strength rather than neediness, is intoxicating because it invites reciprocal honesty. When you can be vulnerable without requiring validation, it signals you're secure enough to handle his vulnerability without judgment. That invitation creates instant, deep-level bonding because it opens the door for actual intimacy rather than just surface-level performance. The psychological principle here is that vulnerability signals security when it's not attached to neediness. Weak people hide flaws and pretend perfection because they need approval. Secure people can acknowledge flaws and imperfections without seeking validation because they don't need external approval to accept themselves. When you demonstrate fearless vulnerability, you're signaling deep security, which is extraordinarily attractive because it creates psychological safety for him to be real too. Number 6. The unapologetic passion. Watching you talk about something you genuinely love, even if it's something he doesn't understand or care about personally, with genuine, glowing excitement and enthusiasm. Whether it's your career, a hobby, a cause you care about, a subject you're fascinated by, when you light up talking about it, when your whole energy changes because you're discussing something that genuinely excites you, that vibrancy is magnetic regardless of the specific topic. As a man, I can tell you that vibrancy is magnetic because it signals several things simultaneously. A rich inner world, independent sources of fulfillment, genuine passion, and aliveness. A woman with her own fire doesn't need to extract energy from him to feel fulfilled. She radiates it. This signals that she has a full, interesting life that he could be part of, rather than being a project that needs him to provide all meaning and fulfillment. So your job is to not hide or minimize your passions to seem more generally appealing. When you're excited about something, let yourself be fully excited. When you love something, talk about it with genuine enthusiasm, even if he doesn't share that particular interest. Let him see you lit up, passionate, alive in your interests. Because that aliveness, that vibrancy, that internal fire is more attractive than any performance of what you think he wants to see. And the reason why is because men are drawn to women who have their own fire because it removes pressure. You're not looking to us to provide all meaning and excitement in your life. You have your own sources of fulfillment, your own passions, your own reasons to be excited and alive. That independence makes us want to be part of your world rather than feeling responsible for being your entire world. The attachment this creates is about wanting access to your vibrancy and passion rather than feeling obligated to provide it. When you radiate energy from your own interests and passions, he wants to be near that energy, wants to be part of that world, wants access to that aliveness. That desire for access creates pull toward you that performing interest in his world could never achieve, because it's about wanting what you have rather than you needing what he provides. Number 7, high contrast playfulness. Being a sophisticated, put-together woman in public settings, composed, articulate, socially calibrated, the woman others see as classy and together, but having a ridiculous, uninhibited, goofy side that emerges behind closed doors or in private moments. The woman who's elegant at dinner parties but does silly voices at home. Who's professional in public but makes absurd jokes in private. Who's poised around others but totally relaxed and weird with him. Think of it like the difference between someone who's consistently the same in all contexts versus someone who has distinct public and private versions. The first is what everyone gets. The second creates a sense of exclusive access. He gets to see sides of you that the rest of the world doesn't. He has access to the real you behind the public presentation. He gets the private version that's reserved only for people in your intimate circle. So here's where you start. Maintain appropriate presentation in public. Sophisticated, composed, socially calibrated, but in private, allow your goofy, ridiculous, uninhibited side to emerge. Make silly jokes, do funny voices, be weird and playful. Let him see the version of you that's relaxed and unself-conscious and not worried about presentation. That contrast between public polish and private playfulness creates the sense that he's won access to something exclusive. From what I've seen, this creates a powerful psychological anchor because it makes him feel he's the only person who gets to see your nerdy or goofy or ridiculous side. The rest of the world sees the composed, sophisticated version. He gets the private version, the real version, the version that comes out when you feel safe. That exclusive access feels like winning a secret prize that others don't even know exists. Number 8, radical emotional self-regulation. When a situation gets genuinely stressful, a travel delay, a rude waiter, a minor crisis, something going wrong unexpectedly, you remain calm, logical, solution-oriented, and even humorous while others around you are panicking, complaining, or spiraling into stress. Your nervous system stays regulated. You maintain perspective. You don't add emotional reactivity to an already stressful situation. You're the calm presence in chaos. Imagine 2 different responses to the same stressful situation. A flight is delayed for hours. Person A becomes visibly upset, complains repeatedly, spirals into anxiety about the inconvenience, makes the situation more stressful for everyone around them through their reaction. Person B says, "Well, this sucks, but there's nothing we can do about it. Want to grab food and make the best of it?" Maintains calm, finds humor, focuses on solutions rather than reactions. Which person would you rather travel with long term? So let's walk this through step by step. When stressful situations arise, and they will, practice radical self-regulation. Don't add emotional reactivity to an already stressful situation. Stay calm, maintain perspective, look for solutions or accept what can't be changed, even find humor when possible. Demonstrate that your nervous system can stay regulated even when external circumstances are chaotic. This signals incredibly low threat and high-value psychology. And the reason why is because men are often hypervigilant about emotional maintenance, worrying that their partner's reactions will make stressful situations worse rather than better. A woman who can regulate her own nervous system, who stays calm under pressure, who doesn't require emotional management during stress, is incredibly valuable because she makes life easier rather than harder. She's an asset in difficulty rather than an additional complication. The attachment this creates is about feeling safe building a life with you. Because life inevitably includes stress, challenges, things going wrong. A partner who stays regulated during those times makes you feel like you can handle anything together. A partner who adds emotional reactivity to stress makes you feel like every challenge will be exponentially harder with them than without them. The first creates deep attachment. The second creates eventual distance, regardless of how strong physical attraction might be.